I really look up to Nicole Roberts. Nicole was the very first person who put me in drag and helped me get my start, and has always helped me with some costumes, and I learned a lot by watching the way she interacted with the crowd and the way she emceed and the way she performed, and sort of developed my own style, but I've always looked to her as a local role model. Initially, I had other people that would come in and put the makeup on me, and aside from the base, because I have to use a pretty heavy base called Derma Blend, it's a corrective cosmetic that can cover up beard and cover up scars, and people use it to cover up tattoos. But pretty much every color and major product on my face comes from MAC Cosmetics. And MAC is probably more so than any other cosmetic company very involved in raising money for HIV and AIDS awareness and prevention. They have a color lipstick called Viva Glam, and MAC donates 100% of the sale of every tube of that lipstick. And so whether it's my eyeliner or my blush or the crazy pink that I keep on my eyes, which is actually a blush that I use as eyeshadow, almost all of my makeup is MAC. Traditionally, young drag queens have a more experienced queen that adopts them as their drag mother. And that used to be the way that most drag queens learned how to paint their face and do their hair and other aspects of performance. But thanks to YouTube, now anybody can sit at home, and there are wonderful tutorials out there on how to achieve a certain look in your eye, or how to shade your face to make your face look fuller or skinnier, or to hide flaws. Because it's the art of female illusion, female impersonation. So we're changing something about our facial structure, and it's shaping the eyes to make them big or narrow or bold. And there's all kinds of different techniques for doing it. Patty was born out of a dare. Don't ever dare me to do anything, because that will prompt me to do it. And I was the advisor to USC's BGL, well at the time BGLA, but now it's the BGLSA, the Gay and Lesbian Student Organization here on campus. And they're doing their annual fundraiser, the Birdcage. But they needed $500 to pay for lights and sound and staging. And first week of school, how are we going to raise that money? Me being the educator that I am, I told them if they raised the money, I would MC the show in drag. The next week, they had the money. And then a little bit later, October 11th of that year, Patty O'Furniture stepped out on stage in the Russell House Ballroom for the first time and has been rolling downhill ever since. And I'm named for my dad, who was named for his dad. But in the South, we all go by nicknames, so I chopped the first 3 letters of my last name off, and Pat Patterson is what you get. And 14, almost 15 years ago, when I started doing drag, I was sitting around and I had this grand name. I was going to be Crystal Stone. And this girl looked at me and says, that's too serious. You need a name that when people hear it, they know that you're supposed to not be taken seriously. And she says, you need a name like Patty. Patio Furniture. And my friends were like, yeah, so it stuck. Patty is much more socially gregarious than Pat. There's something about the armor. I put on the Patty armor, and I would be willing to walk up to almost anybody in any bar, in any scenario, and do almost anything. Pat, as a boy, I would never do that. I'm too polite, and also a little too hesitant of rejection. If I were to walk up to someone and say, hey, you're cute, and he says no to me, I was like, but if he says no to Patty, laugh it off and move on. Queens who are so exaggerated, like myself, with, I don't shave my arms, I don't shave my chest, I don't pad my hips or hide my candy, which is commonly referred to as tucking, to give myself a more feminine crotch. My balloons, I have breasts made out of balloons, for heaven's sakes. I'm not meant to be taken seriously. Other queens are somewhere on that spectrum. I'm far, far in one direction. I am in character as soon as I put the wig on. The minute I put the wig on and look at myself in the mirror, then it happens. It's the wig, and I don't know what it is about the wig. But that's when the transition happens, and that's when I get in that character. And I stay in the character until I take the wig off. Some friends have noticed when a show's over, I'll go back to the dressing room or wherever I'm packing up, and the first thing I do is take the wig off. I'll leave the makeup on for a good 5 minutes while I'm packing things up. And at that point, I'm back to Pat.